Good morning, everyone. Today is February 9:21 in the evening, Thursday. Wilhelmina is based in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. I am the extension of the seller. I am the gatekeeper, and I am the one who will validate the buyer before we consider the buyer's interest. Now, I'm going to update you guys the price of gold today. Just a moment. Okay, now the price of gold is 6487.0, right, per kilo. This is the world market price. Now, why the gold is so expensive? There is a reason why the gold is so expensive. Gold is tangible products. Gold is a fickle precious metal. Why it's fickle precious metal? The price ups and down just like a wave. There's a low tide and a high tide. Last Friday, the price of gold was low tide. Today, the price of gold, last Friday, the price was 59,800. Today, the price is 60,507.2. So the price, it fluctuates every half an hour. So the price of gold is not fixed. So if I'm were you, bank now, secure now, because I'm telling you there is a possibility that the price of gold will turn to 3,000 per ounce. Multiply that to 32.15. 3,000 times 0.15. 32.15 could be 96,450. So next month or a few weeks, because the price of gold is 1881.62 per ounce, there is a possibility that the price of gold turn to 2,000 per ounce. So 2,000 per ounce times 32.15 equals 64,300 on the world market. Right. So why the gold is so expensive? Well, the gold is tangible. Gold is a precious metal, and gold has many uses. Gold can make into jewelry. If you go on my platform on Facebook, you will see why you want to buy gold. You're a gold trader. You're going to sell the gold to the jewelry manufacturer. You're going to sell the gold to refinery. You're a trader. Buy and sell, you get the profit. Right. Now our selling price is less 8%. Why? The price of gold is getting higher and higher. There is an inflation. When there is an inflation, there is scarcity of supply. So all the international traders are on panic. Why the buyers travel to Africa? Because Africa is the main source of supply. There's Italian group of companies in Mali. There is Chinese are everywhere in Africa. Conakry, Mali, Sierra Leone. Australian mining companies in Africa, positioning themselves. They are mining, so the government giving this big company tax incentive. So there is a competition between the local miners and the big company miners. Right. So the local miner, they are also in control because they are from local. So they are also exporter. Those mining company, big company, they position themselves because the bank is financing them. Right. They dig gold, they open the company and operate the mines, then they refine the gold and bring it to their respective country. So I'm not going to elaborate. So I'm just giving you an insight. If you pay attention to this video, I'm telling you, I consider you are a true buyer. But if you are not really paying attention, to me, you're not a buyer. There's so many joker broker I have been rejected since this morning. Okay. Gold is very unique. As I've said to you guys, if you go on my platform on Facebook, every picture has an explanation. There's a saying, a picture paints 1,000 words. So if you are really paying attention, reading the full corporate offer and listen to this video, I can guarantee you, you will get the gold. Now, I just received communication, I received a phone calls from the operation manager and my head office. Because today is 2023, we no longer accepting 5 kilos or 10 kilos. Now the seller instructed me that the buyers has to place minimum order 20 kilos, from 15 to 20 kilos. So my seller explained to me, it's not worth it for the buyer to travel to get 5 kilos or 10 kilos because of the costing. So there is a minimum now that we can accept 15 to 20% as a trial. So that's why I'm announcing today that you have to pay attention, because I'm telling you, no such broker will explain to you like this. My platform is very unique. This morning, right, there was a buyer's agent from Kenya that he has a buyer from Dubai, and they were been searching for gold, and he's really hungry. And this buyer's agent, he said that his buyer has an appetite, and I told him, prove to me that your buyer has an appetite, because I'm gonna prove it to your buyer that we can feed his appetite. So meaning to say, he's hungry. He's hungry of this supply. So Mr. Buyer, if you're watching me, actually really I don't really deal with chain of joker broker. I call them joker broker. Why? They come to my platform on YouTube because I'm the only person who put my face on the global domain. There's no such person that explain to you like this. There's none. Even one American guy from Texas, he said, Madam, we've been searching for gold for 6 months. And my seller is not really transparent. He was dealing to other seller. And then he was searching gold on YouTube. My video popped up into his screen. Yes. And I interview him. He's a broker. And I told him, I don't need to explain to you. Just pay attention, digest it. If you went to school, I'm sure you will understand. Now, why the gold is very precious? The gold is the world asset. You're buying world asset that there is a value on it. Now, as I've said to you, the gold today, okay, the gold price today, I'm going back to the world market. Just bear with me. The price of gold is ups and down, just like a wave. There's a high tide and low tide. 60,498.34. Just few seconds ago, I mentioned the price is different. Now, I can see the movement of the gold. I always watch the movement of gold on the stock exchange. So don't bank on it, because the price of gold, it fluctuates. Our selling price is less 8%. So if you convince me that you are really a buyer, I might consider to give you flexible rate. Our selling price is $56,000 per kilo, which is 8%. 8% from 60,493. So I don't know, Mr. Buyer, how could I assist you? Very simple. If you're really a trader, you should have a capital. You cannot just leverage the gold. You cannot just say, okay, bring the gold to Dubai, because most of the traders, they bring gold to Dubai because Dubai is a hub. And Dubai jewelry manufacturer is really in demand, and also refinery. The refinery and jewelry manufacturer cannot function their business if there is no supply. I was in Dubai 2022, November, December. I went to jewelry manufacturer. The jewelry manufacturer, his worker is 600 people working 7 days a week. He needs the supply. And they buy gold in Africa. I'm just giving you an insight. And when you, as a gold trader, when you buy from us, we give you a discount. And then when you resell it to your own customer, less 2%, I bet you get a handsome profit. That's the reason why the seller now is getting strict, because most of the gold trader, they're ripping off Africa. Excuse me if I'm saying this, because of the profit. The gold trader, they don't think about the long term. They think only the short term. May I advise you, Mr. Buyer? I can guarantee you in a year's time you will get a profit of 80%. I can guarantee you. Why? I know. I've been to Africa and all my transaction has been successful. You cannot fool me. I know. Now the price now is 60,505.41 just few seconds ago. So I'm watching the movement of gold price. Now, this video would be on my YouTube channel. Click on the link. You go on my platform on Facebook. We have tons of gold, but we cannot sell you tons of gold if you don't have a cash. We don't deal C.I.F. We don't deal SBLC. We don't deal LC or Black Fund or bank instrument. Why? I'm gonna give you, Mr. Buyer, why you have no capital or have no cash. You have a solid asset, but this gold is liquid asset. If you don't have cash in your bank account, you wouldn't be able to get the gold. Why? Instead, you're gonna be frustrated. There's so many fake offer in Africa. So many. They will offer you 36. They will offer you 38 or 40 or 48. That is not the real price. That is undervalue. They will tease you, Mr. Buyer. That seller offer you undervalue. They will attract you in order to grab that offer, but when you arrive on that particular country, there is a hidden cost. They would not tell you. Now, you come to Alumina, everything is transparent. There is a tax. This is commodity you're buying. You place your order plus government value tax. That is normal. Here in Australia, our government sales tax is 10%. In Mali, the government sales tax is 7%. In Sierra Leone, 6.5%. In Cameroon, 17%. In Ghana, 8%. In Conakry, 6.5%. How do I know? I know the market. The seller hired Wilhelmina to handle sales and marketing. I am also in business like you do, Mr. Buyer. I am not an agency. I am a freelancer marketer. I tell the world that Africa is the main source of supply. I tell the world that my seller has a gold to supply to you. My seller have tons of gold. But how are you able to get this ton of gold if you're asking C.I.F, cost, insurance, and freight only? How? So therefore, you don't have the cash. Therefore, you're going to leverage. Therefore, you're going to launder. So you're a launderer. The seller cannot afford to launder his gold because the seller has a worker to feed. And he has overhead as well. So, fair is fair. But you, Mr. Buyer, whoever you are, your eyes is bigger than $1. You will get the profit when you have cash. If you're asking LC, you don't have the cash. You're going to borrow money to use the contract. Well, you will not get the gold if you talk to Wilhelmina because I'm going to validate you. I'm going to interview you. My interview is like this. After you watch this video, you need to digest it and read paragraph by paragraph. I put everything. The carats, the purity, the mode of payment is F.O.B. Where the gold to be delivered. You have to put that into your letter of interest. After you watch this video, click below. It says show more. You read the full corporate offer. You have to read it. Do not come to Wilhelmina if you are not comprehending. Because I'm going to ask you, how did you get my number? You're going to say, oh, Wilhelmina, I went to your Facebook. Did you read it? Because the full corporate offer is very extensive. Very. I put everything, what necessary requirement you are going to supply to us, and what requirement that you're going to take out of the country. What export documentation is already available in front of you if you are really a buyer. Most of the joker broker, they don't reveal their buyer. They are just collecting information. That's fine, collect information. They learn from Wilhelmina. They learn from University of Hard Knocks from Wilhelmina. It's okay. I love to help this joker broker, but joker broker doesn't comprehend. One gentleman from United Kingdom, he knows me for 3 years. 3 years, he keep on asking questions, and I told him, go back and read or else I'm going to block you. Because I don't have time to explain. I'm too busy. Yeah. I work 7 days a week because we have a time difference. This morning, I was being called very early. Right. And I have to take my shower. Right. Now, the time now is 9:37 in the evening. Okay, I work long hour because I want to help everyone. I want to accommodate because we have time difference. Now here in Australia is evening. In your end is morning. And then when you come to Wilhelmina on WhatsApp or Skype, do not say hi. Do not say hello. That is unprofessional. If you're a buyer, you should say, Wilhelmina, thank you very much. I watched your YouTube channel. Your explanation is very impressive. I went through your Facebook. I therefore placed my order 5 kilos. Today, we no longer accepting 5 kilos. I was being instructed few hours ago. Minimum at least 15 to 20 kilos. Minimum. So now you're going to see, well, Amina, is the price flexible? Yes, we are flexible. We are. Only when you satisfied Wilhelmina. Why? After you read this full corporate offer in front of you, whether you are searching gold on YouTube or on Facebook, you have to read properly. Do not be excited. Don't rush. Because I'm not interested to entertain you until you comprehend what you are reading. Because when you come to Wilhelmina, my question is, how did you get my number? You're going to say, oh, Wilhelmina, I searched on Google's. I searched on YouTube. I found your video, okay? Did you watch the video from the beginning to the end? Did you read the full corporate offer? Because every video, the full corporate offer is on every video, even here. If you said, not really, I'm going to tell you, go back and read again. You add me on Skype, I will interview you. You add me on WhatsApp, I'm going to interview you live video call. I want to request you to open your camera. I want to see you. You already see Wilhelmina. Right? You already meet Wilhelmina on this live video. But when you come, I would like to request from you, you open your camera. Most of you are hiding your faces. Don't hide your face because I can detect that you are not transparent if you hide your face. Most of you doesn't show your faces. Why? Why are you scared for? This is $1 million you're buying. I want to know whether you're capable to pay. Yes, you're going to say, well, Amina, I'm scared to travel. Well, I'm a woman. I travel with no security guard. Nobody harm me. You're going to be harmed only if you keep on bargaining and bargaining and bargaining. Or else you're going to be chop. Or else you're going to be kidnapped. Yeah, African sellers are easily to get angry. Why? You travel to their country and you're trying to rip off. You're ripping off. So don't rip off. We'll give you a fair price. Talk to Wilhelmina. I can help you. I am your business facilitator at the same time. I am the gatekeeper. I have the power to say yes or no. If you're a broker watching me, do not cut and paste. Do not hide your buyer. Let your buyer read the full corporate offer because the buyer and the seller has to sign a contract. And Wilhelmina will countersign that the buyer come to Wilhelmina because I am the extension. I have to certify that the buyer is really transparent. Now, Mr. Buyer, when you come to me, my question is, send me a copy of your business registration after you send me a formal letter of interest. Tell me about your company, where your company registered, right? Where the gold to be delivered, either Dubai, Singapore, or Hong Kong. You have to be transparent. And my question is, show me your business registration, a copy. I want to see it. I want to see your importation license. I want to see your passport copy. I want to see the proof of fund. Yeah? That proof of fund, your bank statement to signify that you're a buyer. If you cannot prove to me you're not a buyer. You're just a time waster, to be frank with you. And don't be annoyed, don't be offended, Mr. Buyer, watching this video, because it's true. I've been to Dubai many times. I know the tricks of buyers in Dubai. Dubai is a nice country, but Dubai was used by smuggler. They smuggled gold from Africa. They smuggled diamond in Africa. I don't know why. How did it happen? There's smuggler. There's so many smugglers there. Why? Because of the profit. Yes, they asked the buyer, bring the gold to Dubai. We will assay, we will pay after final assay. To me, big no. Why? You're going to leverage it. You're going to launder it. You don't have the capacity to prove to us that you are really a buyer. Gold is cash business. Now you're gonna say, "Oh, I don't trust African seller." Well, don't buy, because Africa is the main source. 58% in Africa, gold coming from Africa. 50% diamond coming from Africa. 98% of gold coming from Africa. Bauxite is coming from Africa. Coffee is coming from Africa. Gas is coming from Africa. Africa is a huge continent. They are rich on natural resources. Why African company mining themselves as well? Why this Australian mining company are everywhere? Why Chinese are everywhere? Why? The hotel that I stayed, owned by the Chinese. Yeah, why are they? They are positioning themselves, taking the gold out from the country, bring it to China, they refine it. Why China is a really good country now financially. They can lend money to any country because they have an asset to prove to the International Monetary Fund to borrow. The gold is collateral, right? You can buy gold, Dore bar, they refined it into 99.99. They're gonna use the gold to borrow money in the bank as the reserve. So gold has many uses, Mr. Buyer. Either you're gonna sell it to the jewelry manufacturer, either you're gonna sell it to refinery. Refinery knows how to refine anything. So you are a trader, you buy and sell, you get the profit, you sell it 2%, we give you 8% out of the world market. However, because I'm going to charge you, Mr. Buyer, to accompany you, yes, I do charge my extra service. Yes, I will give you more than 8%, provided you convince Walumina. Why? That extra service, I'm going to accompany you. I'm going to take you to Africa with me. Right? I do charge $20,000 for my services. Yes? Which one you like, Mr. Buyer? 8%, you travel alone. And if there is an issue, don't come back to Walumina because I'm too far. But if I am there on the ground with you, guaranteed you will get the gold. Guaranteed. Why? I know my seller. The transaction has been successful. Yes. And you're going to say, Walumina, what carat is that? What purity? Did you read, Mr. Buyer? It says in front of you, the carats and the purity. I don't need to elaborate anymore. I just come in to tell the world that we change now. We no longer accepting 5 kilos. At least according to my head office, Mrs. Ford, at least minimum 15 to 20 kilos. It's not worth it for the buyer to travel. Why? There's a lot of costing as well. So it's better to get 15 or 20, you get the profit. Now, you're going to say, well, Amina, 60,510, too expensive. That is refined. That is already refined. You are not buying refined. You're buying unrefined. That is why we give you a discount, less 8%. I know how much you're going to sell it to the refinery, 2%. Yeah? You get 6%. But if you convince Walumina, I might consider to ask my head office to give you 10 to 11%. But don't bank on it because you have not convinced me. I'm just giving you an insight. Convince Walumina because I am the gateway. I have the power to say yes or no. And I have the power to reject you. When you come to Walumina, be prepared that you are ready. One buyer says, buyer's agent, Walumina, when are you come to Dubai? Well, I can come to Dubai next week or this week, but you have to convince me. And I need a buyer's copy of his vital information so that I could advise my seller to proceed. Either I'm gonna take you to Mali or Conakry or Sierra Leone. So I will determine which seller I'm going to put you. Yeah. And I'm gonna be with you, Mr. Buyer. You will not be scam because I'm with you and I know my seller. I know. You're gonna say, oh, I want 50 kilos. Yeah, there's no issue. Oh, I want tons of gold. Yeah, there's no issue. Prove it to me. Because 1 ton is really more than $1 million. Yeah, I rather suggest you start 20 kilos to build your business relationship with us. It's better. Don't rush. If you have appetite, no problem. We'll feed your appetite. We have the supply. I know you're hungry. So there's a saying, supply and demand determine the price. Mr. Buyer, today is Thursday. We are now 2023. 2022, we are very lenient, especially me. I consider the buyer 5 kilos. So now I was being called, we no longer selling 5 kilos. At least minimum of 15 to 20 kilos this time. This is the instruction of my seller. So Mr. Buyer, make sure you have the financial capital and make sure you have to learn how to introduce yourself. Mr. Joker Broker, do not cut and paste. Do not hide the buyer because you are working for the buyer. Therefore, you need to service your buyer. Because if you don't service your buyer and then you come to Alamina, immediately I'm going to reject you. So therefore, you are not working for the buyer. You're working for your interest for commission. You will never get the commission unless the buyer understand. You will never get commission because we don't pay double commission either. Let me handle if your buyer is real. I will compensate you as a referral fee. But let me handle, I will interview the buyer. And do not say, how much is my commission? You have not convinced Wilhelmina that your buyer is real. How could you get the commission? Because we don't pay double commission. We don't. I will compensate you being a generous woman. Because my seller would not pay double commission. Instead, we give the buyer a very good flexible price because we want to develop buyers and sellers a long-term relationship, not the broker joker. You're gonna say, oh well, Amina, what happened if the buyer will continue? Well, that's not my problem. You will pay once only as an introductory fee. The seller will not pay you. I will be the one to sit aside out of my fee. I don't need you, Mr. Broker. I don't need you because buyer knows how to find. We are now on the internet. You have a Wi-Fi, you have the phone, you have a computer. Buyer wouldn't need anyone because we are trying to remove most of the brokers. They ruin the image of Africa and also the buyer. They ruin the image of Africa, especially Chinese and Indians are bargainer. Last year, my seller sent the Indian out of the office. I would not mention the name of the Indian gold trader. They went to Conakry. They went to Sierra Leone. They went to Mali. One American flew to Sierra Leone. They didn't get the gold. And this American guy from New York, he knows me. He keep on asking question and question and question. I give him the answer. Suddenly, he flew to Sierra Leone. What happened? Failure. Then he come back to Wilhelmina. And he said that, oh, Sierra Leone full of scammer. He is one of the scammer. Why? He's asking for cheap price. He was offered $35,000 last year. And he returned to New York empty-handed. What a waste of time. And Mr. Joker Broker, I wouldn't entertain you if you are already on the ground. There was a lady that she flew to Conakry the other day. She said that her buyer have a good appetite. And I told her, well, if your buyer has a good appetite, why you come to Wilhelmina? Therefore, you didn't get the gold. There are 16 exporters in Conakry. These exporters are very hard to deal with. You can buy gold if you want. If you are in Conakry, you can go to Medina. You can buy. Medina is just like a play market. They would not sell you under value. They will sell you $54,000 or 55. Last year, I was looking, and I hired a driver. And I have a very good driver, a young man. He always park his car in no motel. He's a hardworking young man. And I asked Carlos, take me to Medina. I want to have a look. And he introduced me to the shop from Kalum Hotel to the shop. It's just 100 meters. So because he's my interpreter at the same time, we walked into the shop. He has a jewelry shop. He sell gold $55,000. No bargain. No bargain at all. Mhm. The gold in Conakry coming from Sigiri because Sigiri is a lot of mining site. Conakry is the city. Mhm. They will only come to the city when the buyer get the gold because once you buy gold in Conakry, the gold would be at the central bank. To assay, the gold doesn't leave central bank until your payment has been processed. Mhm. That's the reason why the seller is very careful because once you back out, the seller cannot take the gold out of the central bank. Central bank will confiscate. That's why you have to be attentive. Mr. Buyer, I don't need to teach you. You're a businessman. You should know that and don't be crook because I'm telling you, you're gonna fail. I'm telling you. There was a 50 tons of gold was been confiscated in Mali. Mhm. The export documentation is not properly done. And the sellers shortcut the journey. What happened? The gold seized in the airport. Who is the loser? Both buyers and seller. So, Mr. Seller, I am giving you a very good, very insight information, and you will never find a person like this lady in front of you. I'm not scared. This is my platform. This is my online store. You go on my platform on Facebook, you can have a look. Now, let's talk about Brinks and MS. Now, in Conakry, there is Brink, but the seller has nothing to do with Brinks. Okay? If you have an account in Dubai, you deal with Brinks in Dubai. There is an MS, they have branch in Dubai. Now, on my platform on Facebook, I put the website of MS security. You deal with it because we have nothing to do with that MS security. I only put that in order for the buyer to access it. My seller has his own logistic. I convinced my seller that let's open the door. Let the buyer use Brinks or MS. The seller said yes, we will consider, but the buyer has to pay the gold. We will not hand over the gold to MS or Brinks until the payment clear because the seller will provide commercial invoice. The seller will provide the certificate of clearance, ownership, custom clearance. Then they will hand over to Brinks. Then they will hand over to MS. MS is the logistic security company, just like a DHL. You got my point now, Mr. Buyer? Don't be a fool, Mr. Buyer, because I know ins and out in Dubai. You can use Vanguard. There's a lot. You are using MS. You protect your money. That's all. That's fine. Conakry and Mali, there is an MS. Go on my platform on Facebook. There is a website on MS. You deal with them. Contact them directly. Make sure that you understand. You're gonna say, "Oh, I want to buy gold in Mali or Conakry. I'm going to use Brinks." Yeah, you can use Brinks. You pay the gold first before we hand over to Brinks. Does that make sense? Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good evening. Again, I'm going to go to world market. Now the price of gold is up and down. 60,531.77. So I can see the movement of the gold, just like a wave, as I've said. There's a low tide and high tide. Now, last Friday was a low tide, 59,700, 59,800. Today is Thursday. They're still banking. But tomorrow, Friday, so the banking would be closed. So I'm going to update you tomorrow. Today is 60,531.77. So every minute the price of gold changes. So don't bank on it. Our selling price is flat, 8% less. You're gonna say, well, Amina, what is the carats? The carats is 22.54 equals 23. Well, Amina, what is the purity? The purity, I already mentioned it. It's already in front of you. The purity is from 95, 96, 97. It depends on every bar. So you're gonna say, well, Amina, how much is the tax? Which one? Which one you're gonna take? Mali, Sierra Leone, or Conakry? I will tell you the tax is already in front of you. The tax bracket, I explain it. Yeah. So you don't need to keep on asking a question. You just read it, digest it, then you come back to Wilhelmina, send me a letter of interest to purchase coming from you, stating your company name, address, etc., etc., etc. Then I will review that. I will call you. Mr. Buyer, thank you very much for your letter of intent. I'm gonna ask you, Mr. Buyer, can you show me your business registration? Can you show me your importation license? Can you show me the proof of fund, your bank statement? Don't be scared, Mr. Buyer. No one will steal your money. Wilhelmina is not going to steal your money. I just want to see it to prove that you are a buyer. Now, when I validated you, then I would determine which seller I'm going to put you. Is this a long term or short term, Mr. Buyer? How many quantity on the first shipment, second shipment, third shipment, fourth shipment? We will put that on the contract. We will itemize it. Every month you will get what you order, what you state in the contract. You're gonna sign a contract between my seller and you, and Wilhelmina will countersign as a witness that you come to Wilhelmina for your order. So on the contract, Wilhelmina will countersign. Most important, you and my seller has an agreement to sign a contract. The contract will be sent to you until you will receive the letter of confirmation from my head office. We will send you an email confirmation of your order. Then we will send you the company profile of the seller and the mining license of the seller and the export number of the seller. So both buyers and seller can have an exchange information. You got me, Mr. Buyer? I think I already explained from video to video. I just want to come in because I was been told that no longer accepting 5 or 10 kilos. The minimum now, they increase at least 15 to 20 kilos. So make sure you have the money, Mr. Buyer. Yeah. You're gonna say, well, Amina, is there any flexibility of the price? Yes, we do. Can you afford to pay? That is my question. Can you afford to pay before we're gonna give you a flexible price? You must remember, Mr. Buyer, do not travel without Wilhelmina. Why? Doesn't matter if he's my seller. African seller is very hard to deal with. Very hard. He can reject you. I'll tell you, Mr. Buyer. There was a Pakistan guy, a young man. He was talking to me, I think 3 months to get 3 of them. I have a video call conference with him, one from guy from United Kingdom and United States, and him. He said that we are a buyer. If they are a buyer, why there are 3? So I allow them to communicate with me. I can sense it that they are not a buyer. So these 3 guys, they were just window shopping. That's okay. This Pakistan, because he works for the buyers in Dubai, he traveled to Conakry, 2022. So I traveled to Conakry many times. 2022, I traveled 4 times. I brought buyers. So what happened? This Pakistan is a young guy. He sent me a text that he is in Conakry. I think I mentioned that on my video, my previous video. And I asked him, where you stay in Conakry? I stayed in Nome Hotel. I said, oh, really? So he he called me, and he was in the corner. I was having breakfast in Nome Hotel because I stayed in Nome Hotel. And I told him, okay, after my breakfast, I want to see you. So I told him, what a surprise. You are in Conakry. He said, yes, I'm buying gold. Okay. And so I interview him personally. I know how much is the seller offer you the price. Mhm. And show me the contract. I might able to assist you. He was being offered $35,000. And he showed me the contract. I noticed that he was dealing with my seller. So I didn't tell him. And I told him, okay, that's good. But I think this signature is not my seller's, is not the seller's signature. So I given him a hint. And he said, how do you know? Just go to the office. Because he was been expecting a driver to pick him up. Because I was in the office already yesterday. Before he go to the office. And then when he go to the office, he's asking for C.I.F. So he was being disappointed. And then he called me. So, well, Mina, can I have a drink with you in the lobby? I said, sure, because he stayed at no motel. So what's happening? So, I I'm disappointed, and I'm hesitant to deal with this seller. I said, really? So why? Is he really a seller, Wilhelmina? I said, why did you ask that? And I asked him, can you show me the contract again? So he did show me the contract, and I told him, you know what? I hope you will not be offended. I think you're a fool. I said, why? You're talking to my seller. My seller would not sell you $35,000. So really? I said, yes. And who offer you? The broker, the local agent offer him $35,000. So I told him, I think you were being deceived. And you also deceived yourself. He returned to Dubai empty-handed. You know what he said? Wilhelmina, work with us. I said, no, I don't work with you. My seller hired me to handle sales and marketing for them. I said, no, you know what? You're wasting your time. He left Conakry empty-handed. He was asking C.I.F for 1 kilo, $35,000. My seller said, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Another Indian. Okay, he was being sent out of the office. Indians are bargainer. So my seller says, keep your money. Our gold will not fade. Your money will fade. See? So there's so many trick buyers, really, to be honest with you. Don't trick Mr. Buyer if you're watching this video. Do not trick. Be professional, because this is a world asset you're buying. This is a world asset. This is tangible products. You can make it into different uses. I don't need to explain again and keep on repeating. Just go on my platform on Facebook. You will see everything. Every picture has a message. There's a saying, a picture paints 1,000 words. If you are wise and clever, you understand that. I will believe you, Mr. Buyer, that you're a buyer if you convince this lady in front of you. You know what my seller was saying? Thank God that we found you, Wilhelmina. That's the reason why the seller doesn't deal with any joker broker. But I welcome the joker broker because then, this is business. But let me handle whoever broker watching me. Let me handle. Don't hide. Because I'm telling you, you're going to regret it and you will never close the deal. Create a group chat if your buyer is real. Don't ask how much commission, because I'm going to see first the buyer whether he's a buyer or not. Then I will compensate you. I will give you Ispatis fee. What is Ispatis fee? Introductory fee. Once only. You will not receive for full time. No. No, we don't. That is introductory fee that you bring the buyer. Be contented. I will give you an introductory fee when the buyer satisfied me, when the buyer is real. I hope I explained thoroughly. Click the link. Go on my platform on Facebook. You will see everything. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good morning to you and good evening here. The time now is 10 o'clock in the evening, Thursday, February 9, 2023.